President Sisi urged diplomatic dialogue to resolve Russia-Ukraine crisis in call with Zelensky. Prime Minister Madbouli calls for debt solutions to support Africa's 2030 agenda at UN conference in Spain. And Egypt launches major rescue after barge capsizes in Gulf of Suez, deploys aircraft and vessels. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi spoke with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, stressing the need for diplomatic dialogue to resolve the Russia-Ukraine crisis peacefully. According to Egypt's presidential spokesperson, the call also covered developments in the Middle East and the importance of maintaining the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Iran. Both leaders stressed returning to negotiations for a peaceful settlement. President Sisi highlighted Egypt's ongoing efforts to enforce a ceasefire in Gaza and facilitate humanitarian aid. The discussions further explored ways to strengthen bilateral ties and expand cooperation in economic, trade and investment fields for the benefit of both nations. Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli called for debt solutions to fund Africa's 2030 agenda at a UN conference in Spain. Speaking at a high-level event in Seville, Madbouli stressed the urgent need for financing to support sustainable development amid global economic uncertainty and rising geopolitical and climate risks. He highlighted Egypt's fiscal reforms, including tax base expansion and public offering, which had achieved a 3.5% primary surplus this year. Egypt aims for a 4% surplus next year to further cut public debt and boost growth. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli met with IOM Director General Amy Pope during his visit to Spain for UN development talks. Madbouli is representing President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi at the 4th UN Financing for Development Conference in Seville. Discussions with Pope focused on cooperation to support migration, governance and economic resilience. Madbouli also underlined Egypt's commitment to aligning foreign policy with economic goals to strengthen its global position. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati has received a phone call from EU Commissioner Dubravka Šuica to discuss enhancing cooperation between Egypt and the European Union. Abdulati praised the progress in relationship between Egypt and the European Union and welcomed the EU's support for a €4 billion financial aid package for Egypt. He expressed a desire to strengthen economic and investment ties and emphasized the importance of addressing migration issues. He also discussed the situation in Gaza, highlighting the need for a ceasefire and humanitarian aid access. Egypt has officially launched its National Operational Plan for Food and Nutrition System 2025-2030, along with a new roadmap aimed at accelerating anemia reduction among pregnant women and children. The launch event in Cairo brought together government officials, UN representatives and development partners, highlighting a multi-sectoral approach to improve health and human developments. The UN praised Egypt's leadership and stressed the need for strong coordination, data-driven policies and sustainable financing to transform food systems to reduce malnutrition nationwide. Egypt's Suez Canal Authority says navigation is normal after a barge capsized south of the canal, leaving 4 missing. The Admarine 12 barge capsized near Jabal El-Zayt with 30 people on board. 22 were rescued, while 4 bodies have been recovered and 4 remain missing. Survivors were taken to Al Gouna Hospital and the deceased to Hurghada. The armed forces dispatched marine units to support the search. The Suez Canal continues to operate normally with 33 vessels passing as scheduled. Egypt launched a major rescue after a barge capsized in the Gulf of Suez, deploying aircraft and vessels to aid survivors. The Petroleum Ministry activated its emergency plan, with Minister Karim Badawi and Mohammed Gubran rushing to the site to oversee operations and ensure medical care. Addis Egypt says casualty figures are still being confirmed. The Suez Canal Authority stressed that traffic remains unaffected and the key shipping route is fully operational despite the incident. Egypt has set Senate elections for August 4th and 5th, with overseas voting starting on August 1st. Candidate registration open July 5th and closes just July 10th, with final list released a day later. Campaigning begins July 18th. The Senate, restored after 2019 reforms, will include 300 members, reserving 10% of seats for women. Official results are expected by August 12th as Egypt moves forward with its latest electoral cycle. The Egyptian House of Representatives has approved a major overhaul of decade-old rent law, sparking opposition lawmakers walk out in protest. The new bill introduces a transitional period, 7 years for residential and 5 years for non-residential units, before ending exiting contracts and abolishing all old rent regulations. It also significantly raises rental values, with rent in prime areas increasing up to 20 times the current legal value. Opposition parties criticized the short transition period and lack of protections for original tenants and the families, calling for longer timelines. Despite objections, the bill passed after heated debate, marking a landmark shift in Egypt's rental housing system. Egypt has launched the Golden 1000 Days initiative to cut unnecessary C-sections and boost maternal and child health services. The program focuses on care from pregnancy through a child's first 2 years. It includes specialized training for doctors and midwives, new neonatal units, and expanded family counseling on nutrition and mental health. Health Minister Khaled Abdel Ghaffar highlighted the need for unified data to track progress and match global health standards. A public awareness campaign will also support the effort. Egypt's vaccination program has surpassed 95% coverage, eliminating polio, neonatal tetanus, and measles nationwide. The expanded program on immunization, launched in 1984, now covers 10 diseases through more than 5,300 units. Deputy Health Minister Dr. Amr Qandil praised Egypt's success in meeting WHO hepatitis B targets and highlighted its leadership in routine childhood vaccinations. Egypt delivers around 70 million vaccine doses each year and aims to expand coverage and digitize healthcare by 2030. Egypt has launched its universal health insurance system in Aswan, completing the program's first phase. So far, 97 health facilities are operational in Aswan, with plans to expand to 123. The health authority reports over 2.8 million services delivered during the trial phase. Infrastructure upgrades cost over £9 billion, with an extra 2.5 billion for equipment, bringing total investments to more than £12 billion. The next phase will cover 5 more governorates, aiming for nationwide rollout by 2027. Private sector workers in Egypt will get a paid holiday tomorrow to mark the June 30th revolution anniversary. The Ministry of Manpower moved the holiday to July 3rd under Circular number 12 of 2025 to align celebrations across sectors. Labour officers have been instructed to ensure full implementation nationwide, guaranteeing workers receive their official paid leave. The move aims to unify national observances and provide clarity for employers and employees alike. Egypt has handed over leadership of the UN Committee on Peaceful Uses of Outer Space after a landmark year advancing regional space cooperation. Egypt's space agency, the CEO Dr. Sharif Sidqi, received wide praise for his role in 2024, strengthening Egypt's position as a regional and global space leader. The committee, meeting in Vienna with 104 countries, welcomed Morocco's Dr. Akram Rafiq as the new chair. Egypt led key initiatives supporting peaceful and sustainable space use during its term. Egypt says its sweet procurement system is running smoothly, dismissing rumors of early center closures. Cabinet's media center confirmed all storage sites remain open nationwide, with strong farmer participation surpassing previous seasons. Officials say the system has exceeded expectations and deliveries are continuing normally. The wheat procurement season is scheduled to end on August 15th, supporting national food security and stabilizing local markets. Egypt and the Czech Republic held a joint economic committee meeting in Prague, focusing on expanding trade, investment and cooperation in sectors from agriculture to renewable energy. Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade Hassan Al-Khatib and Czech Minister of Industry and Trade Lukas Vacic praised the Egypt direct flight as a key economic link. They committed to collaboration on water management, smart farming, mining technology and renewable energy. The two sides also pledged to support SMEs, enhance vocational training and boost tourism and ICT innovation. Its foreign and investment ministers met with new ambassadors to discuss aligning diplomacy with economic growth. Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati urged embassies to attract investment and expand export markets to boost Egypt's global standing. Investment Minister Hassan Al-Khatib highlighted reforms that improved the investment climate, including inflation control, flexible exchange rates, and tax and trade policy changes. The meeting aimed to strengthen ties between foreign policy and economic strategy to support growth and reduce the trade deficit. The Egyptian Meteorological Authority forecasts mist on agricultural and highway roads from the north to Cairo and central Sinai, with occasional wind activity and moderately hot nighttime conditions. The Mediterranean is expected to see low to moderate waves reaching up to 2.25 meters, with winds shifting from northeast to northwest. The Red Sea will see similar wave conditions, with winds from the northwest to southwest. Daytime highs include 36 degrees Celsius in Cairo, 31 degrees Celsius in Alexandria, 42 degrees Celsius in both Qina and Aswan. That brings to the end of our news bulletin. Here is what we've been covering. President Sisi urged diplomatic dialogue to resolve Russia-Ukraine crisis in call with Zelensky. Prime Minister Bouli calls for debt solutions to support Africa's 2030 agenda at UN conference in Spain. And Egypt launched major rescue after a barge capsizes in Gulf of Suez, deploys aircraft and vessels. That's all for now. Remember to stay updated by following Qnews for the latest developments. Many thanks for watching.